I'm Lone Wolf and this is TERRORTIME in CUTVILLE. So this is the third day out of my 8 that I'm going to be doing the beats for. The first 2 days went really well, I thought. And today I started later than I wanted to. I had to go and do something this morning. So I started later in the day. I'd have preferred earlier on. But this one's gone really well, I think. Once again, I've started with the beats, or the drums, should I say. So they're sounding good. I had a bit of unfinished business yesterday with the with like the trap style bass, so I decided to maybe have some of that. I did actually start this. This is another thing I would sometimes do. I actually started this beat at 124 BPM, so it's pretty slow really for scratching. It's slow. And then I thought, right, I made the beat at 124. And then I've raised it up to just to what I thought sounded quite nice. So even though I've built it at a slow tempo, I've just raised it to see what I thought. And I really liked it about, well, the tempo. Maybe it's just because it's the subconsciously the tempo I like. But it was around, so I changed it like 138 BPM. So that's what it's going at now. And it was sounding really nice, it was flowing really nice. It sounded really inviting to want to scratch over, so I had a little scratch and it sounded really nice. So I got some good snare sounds. And the percussion sounds really nice on this. It keeps it interesting. It sort of creates rhythms within rhythms is what I like, so you could pull out a certain area of it. It sort of has its own little rhythm. So you can, it's almost like surfing one of those, the little sections. It's like being on a skate park but having different elements to a skate park, or like there's a half pipe in it, there's a quarter pipe, there's some rails, there's some stairs, there's some whatever. It's like at any one point in the skate session you can go from each different section of that skate park. So it's a bit like that, I think, how I've done how I do the percussion in general, that you can sort of do that, but you do that as you are scratching real time. Or that's what I like to have, an element to it. That's some of my thoughts behind it. And it allows you to really sort of bounce off and do things through almost like frees up your mind to think one certain thing from one element of the beat to the next. Even though someone might hear and just say, "Oh, that's just a beat. It's just looped after 32, 64 bars or whatever. It just sounds like the same beat," but it's not. Yes, the individual section of the loops may even be the same. That the individual elements of percussion will last for, but within those, as the time goes on, your rhythm, it's almost creating two different rhythms. At any point you can go on one of those rhythms and it will maybe start giving you a different vibe of how to perform scratching over that particular element of the track. So it took a while to get the beats again, to find the kicks, which it usually does, and the snares are nice and snappy, so I went with that mold. And then I got some nice really, not that one either, really just like disgusting disgustingly like flat tire style. Distorted 808, which again I've processed and tweaked the parameters and changed, and just even doesn't even sound much. I've sat there changing the distortion levels on it. yes, it just sounds like a big flat pancake or something, but it doesn't take much for a little bit in the tone or a little bit in the distortion, a bit more wet on it, a bit more this and that to really make a difference. So I was literally sitting there and I was thinking this isn't even, there's not even that much changing on it really, but it was enough to keep going and think, right, now that one, it's not that much different, but when you hear it, it's definitely the one you were looking for, type thing. Well, that seems to happen. That's just how I approach it. So when I've set the drums out again, I've put everything else on, then I've changed it around again, I've changed the drums, so I'm constantly just moving stuff around. Nothing's ever sort of concrete really, certainly at the start. Which is some really good elements to that. I really, really like this one. On top of that, I put on, I think I'm going to call this like Possession or something, because it's like a ghostly, like a breath, creates a bit of atmosphere, creates a bit of wide open space, a bit eerie, a bit misty, a bit, so there's that going over it, which I made a melody out of that, not that one. So I just had to play about with some ghostly breaths, create a bit of atmosphere. I had a bit of a play about with that, so I've added that in, created a little pattern to go over the top, which again suits it very well, I think. Which brings to this. I've just been having a cut to this, so it does work really nicely. And then I put in it's like a swish beat, and I sort of kind of swish, more like I wanted like a scream, but it sort of gives that impression as the loop starts, like a high type, like that. So that sounded nice. And then again, I had a shot with that really nice bass, which I took so long to find. It just sounds really, that sounds really good, that bass. Really, really like this one. So it hasn't taken too long today. The snare's coming through nicely. The kick, I changed the kick around quite a bit, but that works well in the beat. I thought of maybe putting another layer in. I still may put a reverse cymbal in. In fact, have we got it here? Put that in. Which will be the last bit. I think it sounds really good up until then. I've just had a scratch over it, and it's sounding really nice. So that's the third day done, and then on with tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a fast one. The main thing I'll try and get in all of them, in all of the beats, scratch beats I do, is scratchability levels have to be the highest. That's the most critical thing, or the most important for me, is scratchability levels. Not necessarily the you sort of creating the lead line over them. So whereas your favourite song might have this in, this element, oh yeah, it's got this in, as a general song, or electronic piece of music or something, but the actual scratchability levels might not be as good. Yes, you can scratch over them, you can scratch over anything, but to get your mind, or my opinion, to get your mind in the zone, to scratch over it well and be in a zone that you really just you don't even want to turn it off, really, the beat. You just want to keep scratching over it. That is what I'll try and aim for with my beats. So to have each of the elements within that totally geared to scratchability is massively important for me. You can produce a nice tune with a nice melody and nice whatever's in it, the nice lead line. You could have, your scratch sort of is the lead line really, but you could have all those different elements which makes up a good track, or the pattern of the beat, or if it's not screaming at you at all times that you want to scratch over that beat, or as soon as you hear it, that's what I aim for. As soon as you put the beat on, I want to get on there. I want to get on. I want to scratch. That's the type of thing I try and achieve on mine. So if I play the beat, I just want to go, okay, I want to go on there. I want to have a scratch over that, and that's really important for me with it. So I attempt to do it, and I think that with this one, I've definitely got that, because I've literally just had a go. So each of the different elements in it are positioned to make me want to do that. So it sounds all fused together and really just enhancing that one sphere of, like, maybe energy, or maybe energy is the wrong word, of something that you can be attracted to want to scratch over it. Yeah, so hopefully tomorrow's one will be hopefully as good as these other ones that I've done, which I really like so far. And yeah, I think it'll be a faster one tomorrow. So until then.